Welcome to the Enchanted Lighthouse, where every week magical stories and new adventures await. Join our group of 7 wonderful animal friends as they bring tales about friendship, mystery, and wonder to life. From unexpected guests to heartfelt conversations under the moonlit sky, each story holds a gentle truth. We are so glad that you are here. Now let us begin. A new neighbor moves in. The sound after sunset. Sunday evenings at the lighthouse were usually quiet. The fire crackled softly. Zoe kneaded dough at an unhurried pace. Lumi traced star paths in her notebook. Seppi lay on his belly near the window, watching the waves breathe in and out. Then, tap, tap, thump. Everyone froze. Another sound followed. Clink, scrape. Milo lifted his ears. Please tell me that was not hammering. Theo turned slightly, his glow dimming as he listened. It's late. Hazel peeked out the window. It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday. Tap, tap. Seppi's whiskers twitched. Do you think the lighthouse is making new noises? Lumi shook her head slowly. No. That sound is coming from outside. And it's close. The friends exchanged glances as the noise echoed again. Steady, careful, almost polite, but unmistakably work. Who would be building something at this hour? Hazel whispered. And where? Milo added. No one had an answer. Wandering in the dark. They gathered near the window, peering into the dimness beyond the lighthouse grounds. I don't like not knowing, Milo said. Mystery is usually my thing, but this feels loud. Zoe tilted her head thoughtfully. Maybe someone new arrived. At night? Seppi asked. With a hammer? Theo smiled gently. Not everyone arrives the same way we did. The hammering paused, then resumed. Slower now, as if whoever was working realized how quiet the world around them had become. Hazel sighed. Well, whoever it is, I hope they finish soon. My ears feel jumpy. Theo rested a paw on the table. We will wait until morning. Curiosity is easier in daylight. Outside, the final tap sounded. Then silence returned. The lighthouse settled again, but sleep came a little later than usual. A morning discovery. The next morning arrived clear and cool. Frost lingered on the grass as the friends set out for a walk, following the path that wrapped around the lighthouse and dipped gently toward the trees. Listen, Seppi said suddenly. Nothing. No hammering. No scraping. Only birds and wind, and the calm waves of the sea. They rounded a bend and stopped. There, just beyond a cluster of low bushes, stood a small wooden shed. Fresh planks, a half-finished roof, a neat stack of tools resting against the wall. Well, Milo said slowly, that's new. Hazel circled it once. It wasn't here last week. Theo nodded. Someone's been busy. The shed door creaked open. Meeting Henry. A small figure stepped out, blinking in the sunlight. He was round and sturdy, with warm brown spines and kind eyes behind simple round glasses. A tool belt hung carefully around his middle. "Oh," he said, startled, then smiled. "Good morning." The friends blinked back. "I am Henry," the hedgehog continued, adjusting his belt. "I hope I didn't disturb you last night." Hazel's ears flicked. "That was you?" Henry nodded apologetically. "I'm afraid so. I didn't realize how sound carries at night near the water." "I'm a handyman," he explained. "Fixing things helps me feel settled. I just moved in." Seppi leaned closer. "You live there?" Henry smiled. "Just me and my tools. Once the shed is finished, it will be very quiet. I promise I won't work at nighttime anymore." So we softened immediately. "That is very thoughtful of you." A place for quiet work. Henry pushed the shed door open wider and gestured them inside. "Come in," he said. "It's not finished yet, but it's starting to feel like home." The workshop smelled of fresh wood and oil. Morning light streamed through a small window, catching on rows of carefully arranged tools. Everything had a place. Hammers hung in size order. Jars of nails were neatly labeled, and folded cloths rested beside polished wood pieces. Hazel's eyes grew wide. "It's so organized." Henry smiled shyly. "That helps me think." Against one wall stood a small wooden table and a sturdy chair, both clearly handmade. The edges were smooth, the joints fitted with care rather than speed. "I made those myself," Henry said, noticing their attention. "Furniture, shelves, stools, anything that needs to be strong and last a long time. I like knowing something I build will be used every day." Zoe ran a slow paw along the tabletop. "It feels very smooth," she said softly, "like it was made patiently." Henry nodded. Things respond to how they are treated. Lumi peered at a lantern frame on the workbench. "Is that from the old dog?" Henry brightened. "Yes, it was cracked and crooked, but it just needed reinforcement. I believe most things can be repaired instead of replaced." Seppi bounced a little. "Can you fix anything?" Henry chuckled. "Not everything, but I'm always happy to try." He looked around at them, suddenly a bit serious. "If the lighthouse ever needs repairs, hinges, steps, doors, lantern frames, just come by. I'm right here." Theo's glow warmed the room. "That is very generous of you, Henry." Henry smiled, clearly pleased. "It's good to be useful, and even better to be welcome." For the first time, the shed didn't feel like a mystery at all. It felt like a quiet promise. New neighbor, new rhythm. Over the next days, the lighthouse grew used to a new rhythm. Gentle tapping, only in the mornings. Soft humming drifting from the shed. Occasionally, Henry would leave a fixed hinge or polished handle by the lighthouse door. No note, just help. Hazel watched him one afternoon and smiled. "I think the mystery is solved." Seppi nodded. And it wasn't scary at all. Theo looked out toward the shed, his glow steady. Sometimes, the unknown is just someone new, finding their place. Light and understanding. That evening, as the lighthouse beam swept across the sea, the friends felt the world settle back into its familiar calm, only slightly expanded. One more neighbor, one more story beginning. Henry worked quietly in his shed, the light from his window small but steady. And nearby, the lighthouse shone, welcoming as ever. Every story has something to teach us. What did we learn today? We have learned that sometimes unfamiliar sounds bring worry, but curiosity, kindness, and conversation turn mystery into connection. Not every new presence means disruption. Sometimes it simply means the community is growing. Thank you for stopping by here today. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a like and don't forget to come back next week for a brand new adventurous story. Want to learn more about the magical tenants who live here? Visit enchantedlighthouse.com for a mystical map, creative artwork, and a few special gifts. Until then, be kind and share your light. See you next time.